everyone, and welcome to SportsCenter with Loro and Matt. We have a great day of topics and hot takes to talk to you about around the sports world and March Madness. And Matt, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Loro?
Doing fantastic. So let's start off the day with March Madness. So it was a great Sweet 16, a great Elite 8 this weekend, and I'm looking forward to a great Final Four this weekend. And I'll tell you what, this weekend, what I like, my biggest takeaway of last weekend in March Madness was the Sweet 16 when Arkansas knocked out Gonzaga. And if with that loss for Gonzaga, do you think that Gonzaga is an overrated basketball program?
No, I think, remember last year they went to the final, before they lost to Baylor. So, they have something, going. A lot of teams, this has been a year full of upsets. I mean, every year has a lot of upsets, but there wasn't really a strong team this year. So Gonzaga was in that category. Gonzaga, Baylor, Arizona, look at Kentucky. A lot of these teams were not they were not great, right? And they ended up stumbling. They're still, I think, Coach Few and the Gonzaga program, though, is in good hands. And I think they will be contenders. They should be contenders every year. So we'll see what happens.
They still have to get over the hump, though. I mean, they came close a year ago, but today, they came close a year ago against Baylor, like you mentioned. But Arkansas to me was the better team.
Yeah, and Gonzaga is a team. I think I remember hearing that they have the most NCAA tournament wins in the last 15 years without a national title. So you're right. They need to get over the hump at some point. But I think Arkansas had a good game plan for them, and then Duke had a good game plan for Arkansas.
Yeah, they did. You're absolutely right about having an effective game plan here, but also talk about St. Pete's Cinderella story coming to an end against the North Carolina Tar Heels. And when you saw that game in the Elite Eight, did you think that it was more like North Carolina had the experience, they just played better, and for St. Pete's, no one's going to repeat that run from this year, though?
Yeah, there's a fantastic run. The first time ever a 15 seed made it to the Elite Eight, and just what can you say? Incredible. And my dad's Purdue Boilermakers met their end to St. Pete's as well, so St. Peter's. So he was disappointed in that. But they were a tough team, and against North Carolina, they just weren't hitting shots. When a team like that isn't hitting shots, it's going to be curtains for them.
Yeah, it is. And then also UCLA also getting eliminated by North Carolina too. So you still think that the Bruins basketball program still has a bright future ahead of them. And a lot of people were saying that, was this loss for the Bruins on Mick Cronin?
Yeah, I think that North Carolina, they were an 8 seed, largely because they got blown out in some games this season. But college basketball is very fluid. The team you were in November and December is not the team you're going to be in April, or I say February and March. You have young guys on the team that grow very quickly, that learn the game and the system really quickly, that they weren't able to comprehend back in November, December, even January. So a lot of it's about, like, some of it can be about the hot hand, but not just in terms of who's winning going into the tournament, but in terms of what teams have just been coming together over the last 2 months, where you feel like, okay, I got a real team here. So North Carolina is an 8 seed, but they were a dangerous 8 seed. I predict them beating Baylor. In fact, I didn't think I didn't think Baylor would get by them. I didn't have them going to the Final Four, but they had that look of a team that was coming together at the right time. So they were a tough 8 seed. UCLA, I think that they're in a good spot with Mick Cronin going forward. I look forward to seeing what they do next year.
Yeah, I am too. I think that Mick Cronin. I think I'm looking forward to seeing what UCLA does next season. So, anyways, we'll talk about some of our final four picks here. So here are the matchups: Villanova and Kansas, and Duke in North Carolina. I think those four matchups this Saturday is going to be great.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can't get better than Duke, North Carolina here in the Final Four, and then Kansas, Villanova, two big programs as well. They're going to be. We got some heavyweights here. These are some heavyweights that are going to be slugging it out.
Yeah, they are. I mean, let's talk about who I think is going to win those two matchups. So let's start with Villanova and Kansas. That's the first Final Four game on Saturday. So I'm actually going to pick. They were my pick to go all the way to play Duke in the college basketball national championship game. I have Kansas over Villanova, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout like we saw on Sunday. I think Kansas is going to beat Villanova by a point or three.
Yeah, Villanova, they played such a defensive game with Houston that I feel that, yeah, their defense looks good, but you need more than, what was it, 50 points or what they had, or you need more to beat Kansas that way. And I'm going to say that Kansas also beats Villanova. I think they just are a little bit too much for them.
Yeah, I think that Bill Self has this team on a mission here, and you know that I know that Kansas is a really good basketball team. I've always liked Bill Self and the Kansas Jayhawks because I think that they have a great basketball program, and I think that there's a lot of great players that come out of Kansas that make it to the NBA, though.
Yeah.
And then Duke and North Carolina, my favorite college basketball rivalry. I'm a fan of the Duke Blue Devils, but I don't like North Carolina, though. So I have Duke winning, but it's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be a close game, but I think it's going to come down to the last shot.
Yeah, I have Duke winning as well. I think North Carolina, they just have a look of a team that, yeah, they've had a great run, but I think Duke will be a little bit too much for them. But it's going to be a rivalry game, and rivalry games sometimes upsets happen even when they shouldn't. So I'm going to go with Duke as well.
Yeah, and then my pick for the college basketball national championship game is Duke and Kansas, and I don't think that Coach K's final game will be at the Final Four. His last game is going to be at the national championship game next Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think so too.
I'm gonna say that in this game, Duke and Kansas, since I had that as my national championship game matchup. I'm gonna say Duke wins in overtime against Kansas because I think it's gonna be one heck of a game, and I think that Duke is gonna come out on top by 1 point or maybe by 2 or 3 against Kansas.
Yeah, I think when Duke gets that far, I just feel like the momentum, even though they'll have a lot of pressure on winning the game, I just think the momentum, it seems like it might be Duke's year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Duke's year. You're absolutely right about that. But anyways, now we'll talk about some football here, and some news to be talking about here is what is your thoughts on this new postseason overtime rule? Now that you have both teams possessing the ball in overtime, that was kind of the Colts' proposal that they wanted because in that game when the Chiefs and the Bills went head to head, the Bills did not even get a possession.
Yeah, I agree that I agree with the rule change. I'm glad that it's only for the playoffs. Interestingly enough, in the regular season, a team does not have an advantage if they win or lose the coin flip. It's about 50-50, the percentages. But in the playoffs, it's about, I think, 90% advantage to the team that wins the coin flip. So there's something about the playoffs that's different. My guess is this, that during the playoffs, you have the best teams with the best quarterbacks. And in that situation, the best team with the best quarterback, it's going to be tough to stop. So during the regular season, if it's like Philadelphia, Washington, okay, neither of those teams have a great quarterback. Yeah, the coin flip's not going to help as much. But when Aaron Rodgers wins the coin flip, when Patrick Mahomes wins the coin flip, when Justin Herbert or Josh Allen win the coin flip, they can take the team down the field and get a touchdown they have a big advantage. So I think that's the main reason, and I think and that's why I support the change for sure.
Anyways, now that being said here, I support the change too. I think that this is great for playoff football. I think we're going to see more excitement out of it. And I think it could benefit teams, but we'll see here. But also some news out of Baltimore we should talk about here. The Baltimore Ravens have extended John Harbaugh a 3-year extension through 2025. He got the same extension as Dave Roberts did with the Dodgers. So what's your thoughts on John Harbaugh getting a new contract extension with the Ravens? And he is now the 3rd longest tenured active coach.
Only behind Bill Belichick and Mike Tomlin, right?
And Pete Carroll, too.
Oh, and Pete Carroll. Oh, okay, yeah. So, I think that it's well deserved. I mean, John Harbaugh he's a great NFL coach, and I think he's definitely earned it. And these Ravens, they could be pretty good next year.
Yeah, like you said, the Ravens are probably going to keep up. I think the Bengals will win the AFC North, but you went out on a limb that you think it's going to be between Baltimore or Cleveland, because if the Ravens are healthy, then they're a scary team, and then Cleveland just got better with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I think the Ravens will win the division. I think it's in a division like the AFC North. I think it's going to be tough to repeat as champion for the Bengals. I think the Ravens are too good, and assuming they aren't hit with all those injuries like they were last year, they're going to be tough competition. There's no doormats in that league or in that division. So the Steelers, even though they are arguably the worst team, like Tomlin's never had a losing season. So if that ends up being your worst team, that still makes it a very tough division. The Bengals, number 2, they were 10-6, right? Was it a final?
Yeah, and look what the Bengals did. They just got offensive line help for Joe Burrow. They got Alex Wirfs. They got La'el Collins to help protect Joe Burrow. They've had a good offseason so far.
They have, yeah. And, there's always the X factor with Deshaun Watson in terms of, is he going to get suspended by the league? And is he going to we'll see what type of player he is upon his return. I mean, you missed a year, there's always that slight risk. I think there's still some question marks around Cleveland. So, and there's also those civil lawsuits that are still out against him. So we'll see how all this plays out. So Cleveland's just, you can't bet on them one way or the other at this point. You just don't have enough information.
I still pick the Bengals because of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I think that offense will help them. I just want to see them address more on the defensive side of the ball in the draft, get some more free agents. But I think that the Bengals are going to address their defensive needs in the draft.
Do you think they'll have a Super Bowl hangover from losing the Super Bowl?
No, I don't think so. I think that the Bengals will be good. I think that Joe Burrow is going to have a great year in year 3. I mean, year 2 is really good for Joe Burrow. Yeah. But I just think that the Bengals, to me, I think they're going to be one of the best offensive teams in the AFC.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, anyways, the Browns are going to keep Baker Mayfield for now. I'm kind of shocked about this. Do I see Baker Mayfield being the backup to Deshaun Watson? Not necessarily.
So they didn't cut him?
They did not cut him. They're going to keep him for now because they don't know this whole situation with Deshaun Watson.
Oh my goodness, that is going to be a mess. Like I don't know. Like maybe Stefanski can work some magic, but I heard that Kevin Stefanski and Baker didn't get along well. So I don't know what this is. This is just a strange situation, and I don't know. I feel sorry if you're a Cleveland Brown fan. This is just bizarre.
Yeah, it is bizarre. And then Lamar Jackson out of Baltimore shut down any speculation about him wanting out of Baltimore. He said that he loves the Ravens and that and all that. He said something about that on Twitter.
Yeah. Good.
So I think Lamar Jackson's going to get extended though, but I think that his contract extension talks will take time.
Yeah.
So I do think that he'll be a big part of the Ravens' future.
Okay.
That's what I think. So, anyways, Ronald Jones, he's known as Rojo. He signed a 1-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. So your thoughts on that? You think that he'll be a good compliment to Clyde Edwards-Helaire here?
Yeah, I think so. I think, signing I think makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's another question we have here. Do you think the Chiefs? Do you think that now that they moved on from Tyreek Hill, do you think they should trade for either DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett?
Yeah, I think DK is going to go somewhere. I just don't think the situation in Seattle for him is ideal. I mean, even when he had Russell Wilson, when Russell Wilson got hurt, he wasn't really that good of a receiver, So I think he wants to go somewhere that he can be the best receiver he can be. So, and I think that requires him to go to a place with a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, Kansas City, I think, is the favorite. I think that the Chiefs could give up one of their first-round picks to Seattle, and then Kansas City could keep 30, or they give up the 30th pick for him.
Yeah.
And then they still keep the first-round pick that they got from the Miami Dolphins for Tyreek Hill.
Right, yep.
So, anyways, let's talk about some NFL media news. So we got news yesterday, and we learned that here's the news. Here's the breakdown. Thursday Night Football. Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit have Thursday Night Football. Sunday Night Football, we have Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth. Monday Night Football, we have Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Kevin Burkhardt is going to now be the new lead announcer for the NFL on Fox. So, do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, I didn't hear that. Yeah, so, Kevin Burkhardt. And who's going to be the color guy?
Most likely, I think it's going to be Greg Olsen moving from 2 to 1 with Burkhardt.
Yeah, I like Greg Olsen. I know I think we'll see how he does as a number one guy. I liked him as definitely like a number two guy, and I like him as an analyst on Fox. So good luck to him. I like Greg Olsen. Yeah, we'll see. And of course, Nance and Romo will be back for CBS.
Yeah, which new pairing are you looking forward to hearing the most? Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit, or Joe Buck and Troy Aikman with Monday Night Football?
Yeah, I have to say I'll be very intrigued by Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit, only because Herbstreit is coming from college, and granted he can, going from college to the pros or vice versa, that's not too difficult. And I like Herbstreit a lot.
Yes, Kirk Herbstreit, not only he is doing Thursday Night Football for Amazon Prime, he's still going to continue doing college football Saturdays on ESPN, especially continuing his role as a college football game day analyst and the lead announcer for Saturday Night Football, and also the college football national championship game.
That's wonderful, yeah.
So Kirk Herbstreit has a lot on his plate. He's going to be really busy, but I do like him doing the NFL because I felt like that he was a really good X's and O's guy when it comes to the NFL draft on ESPN. He's really good at that. And I think that with his expertise on the NFL draft and the college level, he could be a good analyst in the NFL.
Yeah.
So him and Al Michaels are going to be great together, although him and Troy Aikman were going to be they were rumored to be the dream team for Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, they must have thought, ESPN made it too good of a deal, though.
Yeah, it's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. I think Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, they're an upgrade over Steve Levy and Louis Riddick and Brian Greasy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, I like Steve Levy though.
And there's going to be 3 weeks where Monday Night Football has 2 games. One's going to be on ABC, one's on ESPN, I believe. I remember reading. So there's actually 2 Monday Night Football games during 3 of the weeks. Not every week, but only 3 of them.
It's probably going to be the last weekend of the regular season, but I don't really know. So I'm kind of thinking.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I misheard, but I thought there was something about that where they were trying to, because they already do the double feature for week 1 for Monday Night Football. I think now they're just going to extend it to a couple more weeks.
I mean, you're right about that, but I'm really excited I love Joe Buck at Fox and all that, but I think him and Troy Aikman doing Monday Night Football together is going to be fun to watch. And I know Erin Andrews is still going to continue her role on Fox. She's not going to join them on ESPN. Lisa Salters will continue her role as the Monday Night Football sideline reporter.
Okay.
I also think that Amazon should consider hiring Jane Slater, though, to be the sideline reporter for Thursday Night Football with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Jarvis Landry is seeking a $20 million deal after the Browns released him. Which teams do you think could pursue the veteran wide receiver?
Yeah, I think I'm not quite sure. I mean, I want to say like maybe Kansas City could go for him. It could be a situation of who knows, maybe like Philly would want to put him on their team to see if he helps with the offense there. Or perhaps even Washington. But I'm not sure. What do you think?
I think that Jarvis should go to a team like maybe the Bengals. He could stay in Ohio. I mean, get revenge on the Browns for what they did to him. So, anyways, also we have other news to be talking about here. Andy Dalton is signing with the New Orleans Saints. They're going to convert Taysom Hill to a tight end. And how do you feel about all that stuff?
Yeah, it seems like kind of a mess. I mean, I think that's another. It's a bit of a couple of strange moves, but it not as big of a mess as Cleveland might be. But what do you think?
Taysom Hill is more of Taysom Hill can be a tight end, but he could also be featured in like trick plays, New Orleans special safe, for example. Jameis Winston throws a screen pass to Winston, and he would try to run, but he could also throw on the run and do kind of that trick play, you know?
They'll probably still work him into some offensive packages as a passer.
But Dennis Allen said that he's gonna work him as a tight end though. But also knows that Jimmy Garoppolo is gonna stay with San Fran for now. I don't know how I feel about it. You know, I think that if he's gonna stay for now. But the thing is, the Niners are gonna be forced to cut him.
Yeah, that's another strange situation. I thought they would have traded Jimmy to a team that needed a quarterback, and there's a couple of teams out there I think that would do it. And I don't know why they're not moving off him. It's just, it's kind of like Cleveland, where like if Cleveland goes with Deshaun Watson and Baker, like that's just super weird. And sitting in San Francisco, like keeping Jimmy G, but having Trey Lance take it over, that just seems weird. So I don't know. I mean, I guess that's why they pay Kevin Stefanski and Kyle Shanahan the big bucks. But yeah, it just seems like they could have handled quarterbacks area better.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I think that if you look at it, I also think that Jimmy G could be a good backup to Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is going to start next year. That's what I think. But Robert Kraft said some interesting comments yesterday. He is losing patience on the Patriots winning the playoff game. Is it more like you think he's impatient with Belichick? Is he impatient with the team? I kind of think when that's in that sense, I think you need to be patient in that situation.
Yeah, I think when an owner goes up to the public, to the media like that, I think it means that Bill Belichick maybe is not listening to Kraft on some issues, about how to draft maybe or how to sign free agents. And he's concerned that Belichick is not making the right moves. He might be concerned with maybe the development of Mac Jones. He thinks maybe they should bring in a different offensive coordinator for him. So usually when it goes to the media like that, it's because there's some breakdown of communication internally or some disagreement. And Kraft now feels I have to go to the media to get Bill's attention on something.
I mean, I think Mac Jones is the right guy, and then the right person at quarterback. But Robert Kraft had some really good things to say about Mac Jones during the NFL annual owner meetings.
Good.
So he said that he had nothing but praise for Mac Jones. He said he's such a good person and humble, but he's a guy that, and he also is excited about Mac Jones and the future of the New England Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying that you think Mac Jones is the guy going forward for the Patriots?
Well, yeah, definitely for this year, yeah.
No, I'm talking about in the future. You think Mac Jones is the quarterback of the future for the Patriots?
Yeah, I think what I would say is let's see how he does this year. And then I think you give him one more year because this year might be losing offensive coordinator, it might be a bit shaky. So
he might be, but I think he'll be fine though.
Okay.
That's what I think. I think he'll be fine and all that. I have a lot of confidence in Mac Jones and how he's going to grow into as a player. But anyways, now, yesterday, the Lakers lost an embarrassing game to the Dallas Mavericks. I have to say, to answer this next question, the Lakers are in danger of not making the playoffs this year. It's hard to say it. This team was built to win. It was supposed to be a top 3 team in the Western Conference, but we have not seen that.
Yeah, a lot of people saw this coming, though. They said they didn't understand their offseason moves, just getting older. I think it's what happens when you have ownership, a GM, a head coach, and a big star player like LeBron, and they're not on the same page, or they are listening to too many people, and then you have too many cooks in the kitchen, and then all of a sudden your dinner's ruined, So I think it has something to do with that. I kind of like, in a way, I think if it's true that LeBron wanted to bring in all these older guys, like part of it's on him, but also part of it's on someone like Pelinka or maybe Jeannie Buss for saying, like, not standing up to him and saying, hey, look, this is going to not work. These guys are way too old. We can't do this, and LeBron is kind of stuck here, I think, but he might, maybe he'll want to go. He'll want to leave the Lakers because this seems like a long-term mess again. And with AD, I mean, part of it too is AD is just not a healthy player, and he's never going to be. You can't count on him. When he's healthy, he's a great number 2 on your team, but if he has health issues, that means he's not playing, right? And he's not playing right now. So, this has been a debacle. Vogel will get fired, I think, and we'll see what other moves they make on the roster.
You think Frank Vogel's the fall guy? I don't believe any of that. I think Frank Vogel's a great coach that can make teams contenders, but I would give it one more chance if I were Jeannie Buss. I'm not sure how patient they are with Frank Vogel. So if they move on from him, I would have to get a good reason why from Jeannie Buss when she addresses the media on that.
Yeah, I think Vogel, I mean, he's been known as like a big defensive guy, right? He's a really good defensive coach. And what happened? The Mavericks had 82 points at halftime, and I know they don't have LeBron or AD, but at some point, that's not the first time they got blown out with no effort on defense, right? And so, when you're defensive, when your hallmark is I'm a defensive guy, and your teams are giving up a bunch of points, sure, you can blame the roster moves, you can blame the health of the players, not being there. I get that. And I don't think Vogel's a bad coach, but I just think, he's won an NBA championship. But sometimes you just need a different voice in the room. And, in the hierarchy there, you have Jeannie Buss, LeBron, then probably Pelinka, and then Vogel. So I think Vogel is going to be the guy. He'll be the fall guy.
Probably will. I'm taking a look at the Lakers' remaining schedule. They got the Utah Jazz tomorrow. I don't know if they're going to beat them. Utah's really good. Then
Clippers came back from 25 points to beat him yesterday. That was a great comeback. Wow.
And then they get the Pelicans again on Friday, and the Pelicans are looking like they're going to be a team that's going to be in the play-in tournament with the additions that they have.
Yeah, if the Lakers can win that one, they could hang around in the play-in tournament, I think. But
the thing is, they blew a 20-point lead over the Pelicans.
Yeah, if the Lakers lose the Pelicans, they're definitely done at that point.
Yeah, I think they're going to lose to the Pelicans on Friday, and then the week of the 3rd gets even tougher. The Nuggets, then the Suns, then the Warriors, then OKC. OKC, we should win that, but the Lakers should win that, but the Lakers haven't not played well against OKC, and then they play Denver again on the 10th. That is a brutal stretch for the Lakers.
Yeah.
So if they can't beat the Pelicans again on Friday, or if they can't beat the Thunder, they're done. I've said that they're done since the Pelicans game on Sunday. And I
Yeah.
didn't even bother watching that game on Sunday because I was watching the Oscar Awards after March Madness. And I was like, I would rather watch the Academy Awards than watch the Lakers.
Yeah.
That's how pathetic they've been looking.
Yeah. It's been rough for them for sure.
So basically, their schedule does not look any easier heading into April. And like I said, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think San Antonio is going to be a sneaky team at the right time, which they've been. And they have a tough test against the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. And I think San Antonio will get another win.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you think of the Spurs? I mean, let's kind of break down the West play-in standings, but talk about the play-in standings here, 10 and 11 here. The Spurs and the Lakers, the Spurs have the tiebreaker over the Lakers here.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, with the Lakers losing to the Mavericks yesterday, San Antonio is now 10th. I'm kind of thinking that with Memphis already securing their spot in the playoffs, they might not have much to play for in that sense. I kind of think San Antonio should get a win over Memphis. They need to get this win badly.
Yeah, Memphis is going to be locked into the 2 seed, barring a huge collapse and a Golden State surge.
Yeah, talk about the Warriors. They have not played well lately, and I don't see it being a dramatic drop. I just think that they're saving Steph Curry for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the West standings here. You got Minnesota 7th, and then Paul George is coming back. I think that's going to help the Clippers out big time.
Yeah, Clippers, his return's going to really help, and I think they'll definitely be in a play-in game, and then I think they're going to win the play-in game, and at that point, if they're the 8th seed, they would play Phoenix. Assuming Minnesota takes care of business. And then they would play Phoenix in the first round. So, and they'd probably get blown out by Phoenix.
I'm kind of thinking you need Kawhi Leonard in this game.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to rush him back only because, they're looking at it as like, why do that? You're an 8th seed. Even if you put Kawhi on the team, like,
you need to save. I think the Clippers need to save Kawhi Leonard for next season. That way the Clippers could be a top 3 or 4 seed in the West when they have a healthy Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of thinking there. Memphis, I think, is already for real. I mean, look, you got Ja Morant, who's had a great year, and you got to put Ja Morant in the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
And let's also talk about a team in the East that's been very good. Had a great second half of the season. This team had a lot of speculation when the Boston Celtics, 47-29. And I said the Celtics cannot rely on Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum on a nightly basis because they need to have other sources. But they lost Robert Williams III for the season with a torn meniscus. That's a big blow for the Celtics. What's really clicking for the Celtics right now?
Yeah, they're just a solid team, and they're playing their best basketball of the season right now. I mean, they could be the 1 seed going into the Eastern Conference playoffs here.
The East looks very tough, especially Miami. They've kind of hit a downfall a little bit, but I think they'll hang tough. The Bucks are one time they're 4 seed, but the other they're the 2. So I think Milwaukee will end up being a 2 or 3 seed.
Yeah, I think Miami's going to stumble. I think it's going to go to Milwaukee as the 1 seed.
And then Miami 2 or 3?
I think it'll be the Celtics 2 or 3 in Miami. I think it'll be Milwaukee, Boston, then Miami, then Philly.
Yeah, and then the Cavs have kind of had a downfall lately, but I don't think they'll fall off too much here.
Yeah, they'll probably be in a play-in game.
And then you got, and for sure the Hornets and the Hawks will be in the play-in game with only the Knicks and the Wizards probably going to miss out.
Yeah.
And then talk about your Detroit Pistons. So you said that this team has been playing very hard down the stretch, even though they're out of the playoffs, but they made it a game last night with the Brooklyn Nets with a 130-123 loss.
Yeah, they're not a good team. They don't have the roster, right? But I think the coaching's there, and I think they're I think they're going to be a young team. They're going to get another good draft pick this year. And I think that they'll be exciting in the next 2 years, I think.
They have a good young core. I'm a fan of that young core, the Detroit Pistons, such as guys like Kay Cunningham, Sadiq Bey, Killian Hayes.
Yeah.
I just think that they just need a veteran star to kind of help them.
Yeah, they'll get one more really good pick because they might even have the number 1 overall pick. We'll see. Well, there's the lottery, right? So we have to see where they fall with that. But
they might get Duke's Pablo Branchero.
It could be, yeah,
as the number 1 pick, or they could get a center as the number 1 pick. Talking about the Gonzaga center,
right?
Who I think could be really good here, but I think that the Detroit Pistons, you got to give it time. I think Dwayne Casey's done a good enough job to kind of help Detroit get back to playing winning basketball, but they're just not there yet. But do you think that Tom Gores is a patient man?
Yeah, I think he is. I think he knows Dwayne Casey's a really good coach.
Oh, Dwayne Casey's a great coach. I mean, and also we have to talk about this when it comes to basketball here. An NBA legend, Penny Hardaway, could be in serious trouble at his alma mater at the University of Memphis.
Yeah, what happened?
He could be in trouble because it's a long story, though.
Is it a recruiting violation?
It might be a recruiting violation.
Okay, yeah.
For Penny Hardaway. So, anyways, the Lakers, you think Frank Vogel is definitely on the hot seat at the end of this?
Yeah.
Who do you think is more likely to get fired, Vogel or Pelinka?
I think that, I think it'll be Vogel, although I think in a fair world it would be Pelinka. It might even be both because if you fire the GM but not the coach, a GM comes in there and he's going to want to bring in his own coach. So I think if you fire Pelinka, you have to also fire Vogel so that the GM and the coach can be on the same page, and they know they're going to be on the same page.
Yeah, I think the Lakers might move in a new direction after the season, which I'm not saying dramatically that they're going to move into a new direction. I'm not that type of guy. I'm kind of patient with Vogel, but if it comes to that point, then I would have to agree that it would be time to move into a new direction. Which I think the Lakers could be in that situation because you're not going to win with a mediocre roster. I'm not saying the Lakers are going to rebuild after the season, though.
Yeah,
they're not going to hit the reset button. I do think they're going to keep LeBron James and Anthony Davis, though, but you're going to have to surround them with young talent.
Yeah,
I would keep. Do you think the Lakers? And the question is, Russell Westbrook. The Knicks had zero interest in Russell Westbrook. Do you think Russell Westbrook will stay with the Lakers next season?
Yes, I think that. Excuse me, no, I don't think they're bringing Russell Westbrook back. But I don't know what they get for him. I don't think there's any market for him anymore. I think it's
there's not a market for him. I do believe that Russell Westbrook can win with the Lakers. I have confidence in that. I think he's a phenomenal ball player. I think that this year has just not been a good first year for Russell Westbrook, and I get why. I mean, it's a tough transition, and I think that he's in a big market. A lot of people have criticized him way too much, but he's a guy that night in and night out plays hard on a nightly basis.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thing there. But anyways, let's talk about some baseball here. Kind of the good stuff now that the Lakers, but we're going to be making our playoff predictions right after the basketball season comes to a close. So for baseball here, talk about Dave Roberts getting a 3-year contract extension with the Dodgers until the 2025 season. What is your overall takeaway on this? And I told you that Dave Roberts is the right person to lead the Dodgers into the future.
Yeah, I think he is. I've always liked Dave Roberts. I'm happy that they brought him back.
They did. And let's talk about some games right now. So the Detroit Tigers right now are playing Grapefruit League baseball against the Philadelphia Phillies, and they are up 6-0. Is it because of what you – and do you think that your prediction could pay off on the Detroit Tigers based on how they're looking so far in Cactus League and Grapefruit League play?
Yeah, I wouldn't – well, I wouldn't put too much emphasis on scores in the spring games, but I think, they're going to be – I think they're going to be contenders this year.
Yeah, and when we talk next week about opening day, we're going to talk more deep into your Tigers season opener as they play the same day as my Dodgers. So they play the Chicago White Sox next week for 3. Then they play the Red Sox for 3, and then 4 with the Royals. I think the toughest series will be Chicago and Boston. Kansas City should be easy.
Yeah.
So what do you think? And also, we'll talk about your opening day starter for the Detroit Tigers, and let's see who that is. It is Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yeah.
What is your expectations for him in his first start as a Tiger on opening day?
Well, we'll see. Go out there and try to look good, I guess, and get the team to win.
And is this going to be the last year that we see Miguel Cabrera in the Detroit Tigers uniform?
Could be, yeah. It might be his last run with the team.
I've always been a big fan of Miguel Cabrera. Great player, great man, World Series champion with the Marlins. But when he goes into Cooperstown, I think Miguel Cabrera is going to go in as a Tiger.
Yeah, I think he will too. It's either that or a Marlin, but he'll go in as he's spent the bulk of his career at the Tigers, even though he did win the World Series with the Marlins.
Yeah, he did, but I just think to me he's a Tiger. He's always going to be a Tiger for life.
Yep.
And I think that he is. I think he's the veteran leader in this clubhouse for the Detroit Tigers. And I think that I still expect a solid season from him. Do you expect him to hit 30 home runs this year?
I think it'll probably be more like 25. So we'll see though.
Anyways, talk about a homecoming for this man that played for the Dodgers last year, who I enjoyed seeing in a Dodger uniform, and now he is back where it all started. Albert Pujols signed a 1-year contract to be a member of the St. Louis Cardinals for at least one last time, but he did say that the 2022 season is going to be his last season. What are your thoughts on him teaming up with Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright for one last time?
Yeah, he's not the player he was. He'll be a bench player, maybe a good clubhouse presence. So I guess they're bringing him in for that.
Actually, the DH is now in the National League, so we should expect Albert Pujols to be the designated hitter for the Cardinals.
Oh yeah, that he'll probably be doing a lot of DHing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that way he doesn't have to do a lot of running. I still think he can hit. I still think that he's a clutch player. He comes through in the clutch when need be. And I can't wait to see him in the same lineup as Yadier Molina again.
Yeah.
And you know that this is Yadier Molina's final season as a Cardinal. And to have Albert be back with Waino and Yadi, it's only fitting because I think all three of them are going to retire at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I think that the Cardinals are going to be a great baseball team. And I think that the talent is there. But I have to say that everybody in Cardinal Nation and the city of St. Louis, they are ecstatic right now.
Uh-huh.
And they are going to be so pumped. They're going to be excited. Tickets are going to be sold out at Busch Stadium just because they want to see Albert Molina and Waino for one last time.
Uh-huh.
Because they have been a fan favorite of the Cardinals, and you know how much Albert and Yadi and Wainwright have meant so much to the Cardinals organization.
Yeah.
And could you see them maybe winning the World Series one last time?
Yeah, I wouldn't put it by them. They're the Cardinals.
Yeah, making a run at the World Series and then going out a champ could happen, but I think the Dodgers right now are the favorites. And if they don't make it that far, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be Pujols' last run anyway. So, anyways, let's talk about some of our top 5 position players here. I mean, this is a new segment we're doing. That way we could speed up the process and all that. So, Let's start off with our top five starting pitchers. So, who are my top five starting pitchers are Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, Garrett Cole, Corbin Burns, and Walker Buehler. Who are your top five, Matt?
Those are my top five too.
Yeah, we're on the same page too. I mean, and then what about relief pitchers? I have Josh Hader, Aroldis Chapman, Liam Hendricks, Rafael Iglesias, and Blake Trinan.
Oh yeah, those are all pretty good as well. Yeah, I agree. Those are pretty good.
We might be different on this. So here's our top five first basemen here: Max Muncy of the Dodgers, then Matt Olson of the Braves, Anthony Rizzo of the Yankees, Freddie Freeman of the Dodgers, and Pete Alonso of the Mets.
Yeah, I think. Well, I would put Vlad Guerrero. He's first base, right?
Yeah, first base, DH.
Yeah,
Vlad Guerrero has had a good offseason.
And is Freddie Freeman going to be the first baseman for the Dodgers?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so I'd say Guerrero, Freeman, Matt Olson, Paul Goldschmidt, and then Pete Alonso.
Yeah, there's a lot of good first basemen out there, but when it comes to second baseman, I have Ozzie Albies number one. I have Jose Altuve number two, DJ LeMahieu number three, then Jake Cronenworth of the Padres at four, and then Jazz Chisholm at five.
Yeah, let's see. My second baseman, I'm going with Trey Turner.
Trey Turner's a shortstop.
Oh, but isn't he also...
He played second base last year because Corey Seager played shortstop for the Dodgers. So
okay, yeah.
He's moving over to shortstop now because of Corey Seager leaving.
Okay, then I'll go with Ozzie Albies, Marcus Semien, Whit Merrifield, Jose Altuve, and Ketel Marte.
Ketel Marte is not bad of a pick, though, but Ketel Marte is more of a center fielder, though. But my top five shortstops are Trey Turner of the Dodgers, Corey Seager of the Rangers, Fernando Tatis Jr. of the Padres, then Xander Bogaerts of the Red Sox, and Carlos Correa of the Twins.
Ooh, that's a pretty good list. Let's see. Mine. Let's see. Yeah, I'll go with Trey Turner. Oops. And then Fernando Tatis, assuming he is going to be healthy. Then I'm going to go with Carlos Correa, Xander Bogaerts, and then Corey Seager.
And for third baseman, I have Manny Machado, Nolan Arenado, Chris Bryant, Justin Turner, and Rafael Devers.
Oh, that's pretty good. Say him again.
Machado, Arenado, Bryant, Turner, and Devers, even though Chris Bryant's going to be playing left field for the Rockies, though. I still consider him as a third baseman.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with, a little different here. Let's see. I'm going with Jose Ramirez, Rafael Devers, Alex Bregman, Justin Turner, and then Josh Donaldson.
Yeah, Josh Donaldson's going to be great for the Yankees, but I had a hot take on the Yankees here, Matt. You could agree or disagree with me. I mean, now that Donaldson, Rizzo, and LeMahieu have the infield, I don't like Gleyber Torres on projected lineups as a DH because you got to get his glove out there on the field and his bat in the lineup on an everyday basis. That's why I predict Gleyber Torres should be playing center field for the New York Yankees.
Okay.
What do you think of that? Because I think he has the speed to play center field.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good.
And I don't want Stanton in the outfield because he gets hurt easily when he's playing outfield.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's talk about our top five left fielders here. I have Kyle Schwarber, Randy Arozarena, Jock Peterson, David Peralta, and Christian Yelich.
I agree.
And then for center fielders, I have Mike Trout, Cody Bellinger, Ronald Acuna Jr., Brian Reynolds, and Ian Happ.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that.
And then for right fielders, I have Mookie Betts, Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, and Hunter Renfroe. I would have Castellanos on there, but I think Castellanos is going to play left field because I think his glove is better than Schwarber's.
Yeah, I'd put Castellanos up there still because I if he still plays right field, I'd put him on there.
You mean as a right fielder? I don't think he's going to play a lot of right field, though, now that he's a Philly.
Oh, okay.
I think he's going to play a lot of left field, though, and you know that I think that Citizens Bank ballpark is going to fit him well.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about DHs. Number 1 for me is Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, yeah. Are you gonna include him as a DH, not a pitcher?
DH. But he's also a good pitcher, too. He's also starting on opening day.
Yep, I agree with Shohei with that.
Number 2 is Nelson Cruz of the Washington Nationals.
Oh, okay.
Number 3 is Austin Meadows of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Uh-huh.
Number 4 is JD Martinez from the Red Sox.
Okay.
And then number 5 for me is the Yerminator, Yermin Mercedes.
Yeah, I agree with Shohei. Then I would say Jordan Alvarez, then JD Martinez, then Franmil Reyes, and then I put Giancarlo Stanton.
And then let's talk about our top 5 managers heading into this season. I have Dave Roberts of the Dodgers, then Alex Cora of the Red Sox, Kevin Cash of the Rays, Brian Snitker of the Braves, and Bob Melvin of the Padres.
Yeah, I agree with all that, except I would put AJ Hinch above I take off Alex Cora and I put AJ Hinch on there.
Why would you put AJ Hinch over Alex Cora?
I just think he's going to get more out of the Tigers this year than Cora will out of the Red Sox.
AJ Hinch never should have gotten suspended for a year and then gotten fired by the Astros because of the sign stealing scandal, but I felt like that he needed another opportunity to manage. I do think that him being in Detroit is a great fit for AJ because he played for the Tigers, and I think that, and you think that or as early as this year or sooner, you think the Detroit Tigers are going to be a great baseball team, and I actually can't wait to see the Dodgers play the Tigers at the end of April.
Yeah, I'll be at the game. I'll be at Saturday's game.
Which one? Friday night or Saturday night?
Saturday night.
Who you?
Kirk Gibson night.
Oh yeah, Kirk Gibson's the home run thing.
Yeah,
because he has Parkinson's disease.
Yeah,
I think that's a good night to be at. But where are your seats? Are you going to sit in the all-you-can-eat? Or are you going to be behind home plate? Or are you going to be behind the Tiger dugout?
Yeah, I will. I'm going to be behind home plate in the top deck, but front row, the top deck.
Oh, what hat are you going to wear that day?
I'll wear my Tigers stuff. I'm getting some new Tigers stuff. I'm going to buy it here this weekend.
Oh, a Tiger T-shirt and hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Tigers. You're going to enjoy seeing Javi Baez live, and then. Yeah. Anyways, Matt, next week we're going to talk about opening day, and we're going to have a big recap to talk about the national championship and the Final Four. So you don't want to miss that. So have a great day, Matt. I'll see you next week.
Okay, bye-bye.